Good morning, friends, and welcome to a Hasty Podcast. I'm your ball dodger, Weston Hasty, and you're listening to a Hasty Podcast. I've got my coffee this morning. It's still too hot to actually just sip or drink normally. You have to do the, weird, barely sippy, just the very... where you bring your lips to as close to the surface of the coffee as possible and just suck in air so they can vacuum up the coffee into your mouth, cooling it just enough to not burn. No, is that just me? Am I the only one that does that? No, just me? It can't be just me. It can't be. You have to know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend. Don't act like you don't. Welcome to my podcast, everybody. The podcast where we talk about video games, movies, TV shows, social media, and pretty much anything that happens to pique my interest at any given time, because the podcast is named after me, so I get to choose what we talk about. That's what we're doing. Today we're going to be talking about another video game that I've been playing a bit of here lately. Not a lot, but it's captured my attention, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, so we'll be talking about that. But first, before we get into that, I wanted to make an announcement / update or whatever. I just wanted to say that if you're interested in supporting the podcast, I know we're just starting today's episode. Maybe you're new to the podcast, maybe you know nothing about it, but just keep in the back of your head that this is a possibility. That if you want to support this podcast, you can do so over on patreon.com/Weston Hasty. And starting as of yesterday, on Wednesdays every week, I will be uploading an extension of the Hasty Podcast to Patreon, and a Patreon exclusive extension of the podcast. Right now, it's about a 10-minute short little blurb podcast weekly on Wednesdays, only for Patreon supporters, where I just talk about kind of behind the scenes stuff, what's coming up with the podcast or any of my other projects, to be honest, and my life and that kind of thing. Stuff that you might kind of expect to hear on this podcast, but doesn't really fit a specific theme for any of the given episodes that we do here. So if you do find that you are a fan of the podcast and want to support it for as little as $1 a month, you can do so over on patreon.com and have access to an exclusive Patreon-only podcast extension. And if we get enough supporters over on Patreon, eventually we will lengthen out the weekly podcast to half an hour or plus, etc. You can go over to patreon.com/Weston Hasty to check out our goals and the different tiers and all that good stuff. I just wanted to shout that out, make a mention of that, because I just started doing that yesterday. New weekly short podcast starting yesterday. Anyway, that's my announcement out of the way. I've been trying to really vamp up the podcast. It's very exciting. We got a logo. Patreon's a thing. We're doing things. We're making moves. Oh no, I'm trying to really throw myself back into it. Yeah. Welcome. I think we need a sip of coffee to celebrate this new move. As well as, if you become a Patreon supporter, you may have noticed this if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this, you haven't seen it because you're listening to it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll notice that at the beginning of the podcast and at the end of the podcast, here lately, I've been having a little credits section show off the patrons that support the podcast as a little shout out. So if you want to be in the credits of the podcast, there you go. Now you know how. That coffee. Today, though, I want to talk about this new game. When did it come out? It's called Knockout City. When did it come out? It came out last month, maybe? Hang on. Knockout City. I'm Googling it literally as I speak. Knockout City. When did you release? When was your release date? May 21st. So it was very recent. As of recording this, just a couple weeks ago. So it's very new, and it's very, I was going to say it's very cheap, but how much is that? I think, what did I pay? $20? $25? Something like that? I think it was a $20 game. $19.99? Something like that? Yeah, $19.99. There's a deluxe edition for $29.99 with some cool extra skins or something like that. If that is your thing or whatever, it's available on Steam for sure. I got it through Steam, but I think it's actually Origin. So who owns Origin? EA or whatever? If you get it through Steam, you still have to like get like an Origin account, I think. I already have one and it linked. I linked mine up just then and there. So you might want to get on Origin or you can get on Steam. Apparently it's on Switch and I think it's on the PlayStation Store and the Xbox stores. I think somebody was telling me it's free on Game Pass right now. And I don't know if you have like Origins. Actually, is that what Game Pass is? No, I don't know. I don't have any passes. I think someone was telling me that it's free on Game Pass right now, whatever that means. And I don't know if you have an Origin like subscription, if it's free there or not. I don't really know. I paid $19.99 for this game. But I only mention that because it reminds me of, in a weird way, in a way where the game is nothing like it at all. It reminds me of like Fall Guys, right? Not because the gameplay is remotely similar. The gameplay is not remotely similar. It just reminds me of Fall Guys because it's a multiplayer-only game, but it's not a free game like a Fortnite or something, right? It's you pay something. I don't remember what Fall Guys was. Was Fall Guys like $30? Was it $20? I think it was like $30. I think Fall Guys was more expensive. Actually, I'm going to look that up. I'm curious. Fall Guys. What did I pay for that? No, it's $20. Okay, it's $20. I don't know why I thought it was more. Maybe it was on launch? I don't remember. I don't remember things anymore. Things and stuff. I don't remember them. But anyway, Knockout City. It's nothing like Fall Guys. It's dodgeball. Fall Guys is not dodgeball. Knockout City is dodgeball. And it's really fun, actually. So it's a multiplayer-only game. It has no, like, single-player campaign or anything like that, which normally I'm very leery about paying for games that are multiplayer-only. But I've certainly done it before. I've bought Fall Guys. I bought Among Us, and they're obviously like multiplayer only. I've certainly done it before, but in the past, especially, I've been leery about doing that because, I don't know, there's always this concern of mine that like, what if the game just flops and dies and no one's playing it anymore and now I'm just out that money because it's unplayable if there's no one else to play with? I think I've always had that concern. And I think it's a pretty legitimate concern if a game comes out and there's no like fanfare and people aren't playing it. I think that's a legitimate concern. But in the case of Knockout City, it's been doing its rounds a little bit. I heard about it. Who told me about this thing first? I think my brother mentioned something to me about it. And then I saw a Markiplier video about it. And then a buddy of mine was streaming it. And I'm like, man, okay, it's getting around, I guess, apparently. And it looks like fun. I think I'm gonna buy it. Mostly, like, the final straw for me was my buddy was streaming. I'm like, okay, well, if I get it, if he likes it, and I get it, we could probably stream it together. And in fact, as of recording this, we haven't done that yet, but I think by the time you are watching or listening to this, we will have done that yesterday. So check out Magic Man Mo on YouTube. That's me. If you want to watch me play it with my buddy Alex. Unless by the time we get to that point, something happened and we change our schedules. But as of right now, as of recording this, that was the plan. I'm revealing that I don't record, edit, and upload an episode all in one day. I'm revealing that. I didn't record this the day you're seeing it. Oh no. But anyway, Knockout City. It's a dodgeball game, multiplayer. The main mode. And I think there's a season to the game. I think it's going to have some new game modes in a couple days or something. I think I saw something like that. I have a major complaint about the game, and we'll get to that in a moment. But just as a brief overview, it's a dodgeball game. The main mode right now is this 3-on-3, like sort of team dodgeball game. You can do all the things that you would expect from dodgeball. You can pick up a ball. You can throw a ball. You can catch a ball. And you can deflect a ball, right? Like while you're holding a ball, you can deflect a ball. You can also sprint, which is different from dashing. You can sprint, you can dash. Dash also allows you to tackle people for a ball or knock a ball out of the way. Or sometimes like dash through a ball so that even though it technically hits you, it doesn't count because you dashed through it. Don't really know if that really checks out, but that's how it works. You can also double jump. Although the double jump feature is kind of weird because you can also glide on a glider, which is what, like, if you jump, like, since I'm a keyboard and mouse player, if you jump using spacebar, and then hit space again, you don't double jump. You glide on a glider. If you want to double jump, you have to hit space to jump, and then hit Q or E to do the double jump. But you also don't have to jump. You can just hit Q or E while standing still and do this kind of like a weird flip jump, which I think there's some advanced strategy or some advanced tactics about how to use that to your advantage. I don't know if it's deflecting a ball or doing it when you throw a ball to change its angle. There's some wild stuff I've seen some other players do. You can kind of like, depending on how you move your character, you can throw balls and curve them, like around corners and stuff, like really effectively. I've seen some wild stuff, and I'm not there yet. To be honest with you, I've only played this game like for 2 sessions. I've probably played like 3 or 4 hours of this game. Not very much, to be honest, but enough to have gotten me up to the level 10 stage of the game, which means I've unlocked the ability to form a crew, which is kind of like if you have some friends or whatever, or people that you meet online, whatever, you can kind of form like a group together, and you can all wear like the same colors or jersey or something. It's a thing you can do. It's like having, what do they call them in like, I don't know, Fortnite or something, a squad or something. I'm trying to just think, what do other multiplayer games call this feature? But you can form a crew at like level 5 or something. I think at level 10, I think I just unlocked this, but I haven't done it yet. You can start, I think they call it League Play, which is like their ranked version. But I just mostly play the quick play, right? And the main game mode is 3-on-3. And there are different kinds of balls to make things interesting too. Every time you do one of the regular game modes or whatever, there are different balls available. So you have a regular ball you can throw. You can do all the things that I mentioned. There's a couple other ones. There's a sniper ball, which I thought was a missile ball the first time I saw it. I thought it looked like a bomb or a missile or something, but no, it's a sniper ball. And something you can do before you throw a ball, you can like charge it up to try to throw the ball hard, or you can just like quick tap to try to throw it like as quickly as you can, but like the ball won't fly through the air as fast. It's a slow throw. But sometimes, depending on what you're trying to do, if you're trying to like psych out the other player so that they don't catch your ball or whatever, there's kind of a mental game, actually. There's a strategy. There's a lot of mental game and strategy to it that I really appreciate, and it keeps the game tense. But the sniper ball, when you charge it up, is stupid fast and has really good range. There's a cage ball that if you hit somebody with it, they don't immediately get knocked out. They turn into a ball. If you run up and pick them up before they can get out, then you can use them as a ball to knock somebody else out. And I think if you knock somebody else out with the cage ball, the person in the cage ball also gets knocked out. So you can get a double knockout that way, which is kind of advanced. There is a bomb ball. I don't remember what it's called. It's like a bomb ball, though. And you pick it up. And as soon as you pick it up, like a timer starts, and you need to get rid of it quick. And when you throw it, you don't have to get a direct hit to necessarily knock somebody out, because when it explodes, there's an area of effect to deal damage, which everybody does have health. Everybody gets 2 hits. Everybody gets 2 hits. You can get hit once, and that's okay. If you get hit twice, you're knocked out. And there's a couple exceptions to that. I think there's a train in one of the maps. If you get run over by a train, that's an instant knockout. If you fall off a ledge and die, that's an instant knockout. If you get hit by a player that is as a ball, not in the cage ball. So this is the other kind of fun thing you can do. So you can run up to a player and turn yourself into a ball, and they can pick you up and throw you. And if you throw a player as a ball, it does 2 damage. It's an instant knockout if you get hit by a player ball. And you can charge a player ball and turn them into a like Call of Duty style Predator missile. Where like you fly up into the air as the ball, and you can like target the ground and like come down hard and explode. It's so stupid. It literally turns you into a Predator missile. I don't even know if Call of Duty does Predator missiles anymore. I used to play Modern Warfare 2 and 3 a lot. That's my experience with Call of Duty. I don't know what Call of Duty does these days. What are they on now? What is Cold War? Cold War? Is that the new one? I don't even know. I don't even know. But so there's different styles or different types of ball and different styles of play. Oh, there's a multi-ball. I love the multi-ball too. It's basically a regular ball, but you can hold it. You have 3 of them at a time, so you can like try to overwhelm someone by just chucking 3 balls at them all at the same time. And it's really hard. You can only like catch 1 at a time, so it's really hard to escape. But you can do it. It gets really hairy, but it is doable. There's a couple other game modes. There's a 4-on-4 mode that's what was the 4-on-4 mode? There's a 4-on-4 mode that that's the one where you can only throw player balls. There's no other ball available. You have to throw each other at each other. There is another 3-on-3 mode that is, I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically kill confirmed, right? Diamonds, I think that's what it's called. When you knock someone out, they turn into like diamonds. They explode into like 3 or 5 diamonds or something, and you can collect those. And when you reach so many diamonds, you win. So instead of trying to win by knockouts, you're trying to collect diamonds. So there's some strategy there to like kind of save your own diamonds or whatever. It's like kill confirmed from Call of Duty or something. And then there's a free-for-all mode. Which I haven't played the free-for-all mode because I keep playing with other people. I played a little bit with my buddy Alex. I was streaming the game and I played with a viewer, so like I was always in a team. So I haven't really tried out the free-for-all mode. I bet it's hectic. I bet it is hairy as heck. But I think that gives you a pretty good synopsis of like what the game is. And there's customization options. I love the theme. I love the theming of it. It's like an 80s sort of greaser look mashed with like a neon colors and bright colors, something that's kind of like there's like kind of vaguely a sci-fi look to it. Sorry, I'm kind of dying right now. I'm getting gas from drinking too much coffee today. I'm dying. Anyway, sorry. Where was I? Yeah, the look. It's got this kind of greaser neon colors look to it, which I think is kind of cool thematically. I do think it has the unfortunate effect of looking kind of like, in terms of color palette, and I think just character design, looking vaguely Fortnite-ish. And I think it's mostly from just I don't know if it's the models, the character models, or something about it. I don't know if it's color palette, I don't know if it's the models or whatever. Just reminds me of something like that. It's a little more angular, I think. So it's not as smooth looking as like a Fortnite type thing. It just gives me that vibe a little bit. It's kind of what it looks like. If that's not really your aesthetic, then that's probably going to be a bummer. But for the most part, you're not going to notice it. Other than that, though, it's bright and colorful. There's a lot going on screen at any given time when you're in play, because if someone's like going to throw a ball at you, your screen will try to like warn you and like flash red stuff. There's always something flashing on your screen, I swear, to try to give you as much information as you need to play the game quickly and effectively. It's very fast-paced. It's very fast-paced and can be very hectic. Again, I'm just going to shout myself out. You should check out one of my streams. You can go watch one of the ones that I've already done just to get an idea of gameplay. Or honestly, anybody, just Google it or something. But like, if you want to get a sense of like how hectic it can be, it gets really intense when you're like outnumbered and you're trying to like catch a ball and throw a ball and you're like trying to survive. It's crazy. I love it. But yeah, the theme is pretty cool. There are unlockables as you level up. You unlock like different like jackets to wear, or different faces and skins and gliders. I do think the gliders are kind of pointless. I wish they just did more with the jumping mechanics. I feel like the gliders were just an addition that they added so that you'd have another like customizable thing to unlock, honestly. I wish they did away with the glider and you could just double jump. And I think a great addition to the game that doesn't exist in the game, but I wish they did, was like wall running. I think in a dodgeball game, I think wall running would have been awesome for this style game. Maybe it would have been too much to keep track of. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a little outside of the scope for the game. A glider is a lot easier to like comprehend. But I do think in terms of just the absolute high octane intensity of this game, at the speed at which it often runs, I think some wall running would have been a welcome addition, I think. There's really only one map that really effectively like takes advantage of the glider. I mean, you can use the glider in any map, obviously, but like there's one map where you play on top of these two rooftops, like these two skyscraper rooftops, and there's like one bridge to connect the two of them. So to get from one rooftop to the other, you'd have to cross that bridge in the middle of the map, and it's very daunting or whatever. But there's these jump pads on each of the roofs as well that you can jump on to get enough air, and you can glide to the other rooftop. So you can kind of try to sneak behind your enemy that way. It leaves you a little vulnerable because you're literally gliding in the open. So if someone sees you and chucks a ball at you, there's very little you can do to defend yourself, because you can't really catch the ball midair, or you can stop gliding to catch the ball midair, but you're gonna fall to your doom. So it's probably the only map that really effectively uses gliders for any kind of strategic advantage at all. I wish they I wish they just went with some like wall running or something. That would have been awesome, in my opinion. That doesn't exist in the game. That's my opinion. But whatever. I can get past the gliding thing. I don't do it very much. I'd rather just double jump. Most maps don't require the glider. My big hang up with the game. It's a lot of fun, though. It is a lot of fun. My big hang up with the game. Two things. One thing's I think kind of small, and I don't know if it's just on my end, honestly. I've been having some connectivity issues, but also I've been playing with like Alex, and I've been playing like with a viewer, and I don't know if someone's internet is just like bogging my internet down. I don't know. So I've had some connectivity issues. Maybe worth noting. Just maybe worth noting. I've had a little bit of issues with that, but for the most part, once you're in a game, everything runs fine. But the other one, the big issue that I have is just the UI, especially the menus. I don't know if I've become an elderly man. I am an old, stupid man now. I don't know. I guess I'm way past my video game prime or something, because when I'm trying to navigate the menus of the game, I don't have any idea how to get around. Like if you're in the post-game screen, you can't really go into your character customization, but there is an inventory screen for newly unlocked stuff that you can equip, but you can't look at your character, you can't customize. So to customize stuff, you have to go back to the hideout, and if you go back to the hideout, then you can go to the other menu screen where you can customize stuff or change the game modes, and then from that screen, you can go to the actual game screen that you can, I don't know, there's the hideout, which is like a lobby for you just to hang out by yourself and just practice or whatever, or hang out with any of your buddies that you have in a group, in a party together. And then there's like, besides that, there's like two other screens. There's like the hideout screen, which you can switch to from the hideout, and then there's the actual sort of like waiting on a game to start screen, which is different from the hideout screen, kind of. I don't know. It's something about the UI I just don't understand. If you watch there's a point in my previous stream of this I was playing. I couldn't figure out how to get to the settings. I wanted to change my settings. I wanted to see if I could change my control scheme on my keyboard. I couldn't find the settings. I couldn't you think like in any other game, hit escape and an options menu will pop up. No, not necessarily. Au contraire. That it might not be there, but we did finally find the settings. And then once I did, what I was trying to do was because I didn't know how to turn myself into a ball. I was about to play that game mode where all the players have to like only use other players as balls. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what button to press. I couldn't figure it out on my own. I pressed like every button I thought I could, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I was trying to figure out like what button to push. And I found an option for like ball mode or whatever it's called, and you could switch it from like hold it down to turn into a ball, or toggle, like just click it to turn into a ball. But I didn't know what button to press. I couldn't find key bindings. I'm like, what the? So, and that I think was somewhere else. That was in a different settings menu that wasn't even available in the menu that I had. The UI, the menus are an absolute nightmare, and I just legitimately don't know how to get around the game. Once I just start playing, the gameplay in the game is fun and I love it. I just the menus. Can we just simplify the menus? How about instead of having to travel back and forth from the hideout, like to the hideout and back to where God knows where you are when you're not in the hideout, can we just have two things? You're always in the hideout, and if you're in a menu screen, it's just from hitting escape. You just hit escape and you're in a menu screen. That's it. You're always in the hideout. Hit escape, menu screen. Done. Not multiple menu screens. Not once you start, you leave the hideout. Don't leave the hideout ever. And it's so hard to explain. If you watch my stream footage of that, you'll understand, I think, because I make a point of complaining about this, where I didn't know where I was. And obviously, if you play the game a lot, or, some amount of time, you'll learn where everything is. I mean, that's like any game ever. You get used to where things are, and you just get used to it, and it's fine. But as a newcomer to the game, I was so confused. I'm like, how do I get anywhere? I think the first time I played the game, I couldn't figure out how to customize my character. I unlocked some stuff. I'm like, how do I get to my character customization? There is literally no option to do it. None. I couldn't find it. And it's like, oh, well, I had to go back to my hideout. You go to the hideout. Well, where do I change my skins from my hideout? Oh, well, you have to go to the menu in the hideout. What menu in the hideout? Press escape. Well, that wasn't there before. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old and stupid. Maybe the dementia has really set in. I don't know. The gamer dementia. We've been playing games for too long that you no longer know how games work anymore. I don't know. That's my big hang up with the game, is honestly the UI. And not even the UI of the game. The UI in the game is fine. It's great. It's so hard to mess up because there's not a lot of information you keep on screen for you to keep track of. You have your hits. You have 2 giant hearts to just show you how many hits you have left until you get knocked out. And then other than that, you have the score, how, between the 2 teams. There's not much more going on. You kind of figure out the different flashing color, I say colors and lights, but that makes it sound more intense than it is. We see the different flashing stuff that tries to warn you that you have an incoming ball coming your way. You kind of learn what that means and how to orient yourself to catch a ball, deflect a ball, dodge a ball. You kind of figure that out as you go. It's very hectic and scary the first time, a few times, until you kind of figure out the sort of groove of the game. And once you start doing that, it becomes really rewarding, and it's just so satisfying when you're chucking a ball at a guy, and then you get this warning on screen. You turn and you catch a ball at the last possible second, and then now that you've caught it, you chuck it back at them, and they catch it. They chuck it back at you, and you catch it. You get this chucking back and forth battle, and then another person comes in and tries to get in between the fight, and it's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with this game, Knockout City. If you haven't heard about it, I guess they're in season 1 right now, and I think season 2 ends soonish. I don't know. By the time you see this, I don't remember how many days it was last time I was playing it. I wasn't paying that much attention to seasons and stuff. I was just trying to learn how to play the game and enjoy the game, as opposed to all the meta stuff around it or whatever. So I've been enjoying it. I hope it does well. I really do, because I would like to play a lot more of it. I actually wouldn't mind. Since it's still a really new game, I wouldn't mind playing a lot more of it and trying to actually really jump into the what did I call it? League play, the ranked stuff, and just try to see, just really push my skills. I don't know. I'm not going to become world ranked probably, but I don't know. It's a new game, and I just want to throw my hat in and see what I can do. Usually when I pick up these multiplayer games, I don't pick them up very close to release, and by the time I pick up a game, I feel like, oh, well, I don't want to do ranked or whatever, because I feel like I'm so behind on everything. I don't know how anything works, and whatever. I feel like I'm holding people back. I just play quick play stuff. But this game is so new, and I'm getting into it early enough that I'm like, maybe I'll play a lot of it and play some ranked and be good at a game. maybe that's just it. Maybe some part of me hopes that because I've only played it 4 hours or whatever. So I've got a lot to learn still about some advanced moves, but I'm enjoying it a lot. So I want to throw my hat into the ring and just see. It's a lot of fun. It comes highly recommended from me, even though I haven't played it very much. It's great. It's third person. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's a third person type game, not like first person, but it's got that energy, right? It's bringing me back to back when I used to play a lot of FPS. I've mentioned Call of Duty a couple of times with Modern Warfare 2 and 3. It just brings me back to those days when I had a competitive thing that I used to play quite a bit. I never was good at Call of Duty at all whatsoever, but I enjoyed playing it or whatever. So that just brings me back to that. It's oh man, maybe I'll try to get good. You know what I miss? This is completely off topic. I miss being highly ranked. I don't remember how it worked because I don't think they had a ranked play exactly. I don't remember how it works now, but I miss being very high level. Did I max out my level? I think I did. Yeah, I maxed out my level in Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood's multiplayer. God, I miss being good at that game. I miss playing that game. I miss going an entire round. This is completely off topic. I miss going an entire round and killing assassinating 3 people, but with slow poison and incognito and no one knowing I did it. Killing 3 people and then winning the round with 3,000 points or whatever. And the second placer has 12 kills, but they were all worth no points because they were all stupid, running around. You weren't incognito. It was just a quick hidden blade attack or whatever. I miss just really having a game that I felt I just kind of owned at, I'm not saying this is going to be my game where I'm going to just suddenly be really awesome at Knockout City, but I'm having a lot of fun. So I'm very tempted to give that a try. what's your game? What's your game that you love playing? Do you have a competitive game that you really go hard at and play ranked or whatever? Let me know. Hit me up with the hashtag Hasty Podcast on Twitter if you would like to answer that question, or hit me up with any questions or comments or podcast suggestions or really anything whatsoever. That's one way to connect with me, is over on Twitter using the hashtag Hasty Podcast and giving me a follow at Weston Hasty. I also have an Instagram you can check out. I have a bunch of YouTube channels. This podcast, it's available everywhere. Check out my website at westonhasty.com for links to all of my things. Check out my Patreon at patreon.com/WestonHasty if you would like to support the podcast financially. But if you would like to support the podcast for free, you can do so just as easily as sharing it with your friends and family to help the podcast grow. I'm well over time. Well, I'm not well over time, but I'm just over time, I think. So that's going to do it for tonight's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for listening. Until next time, take care of yourselves and wash your hands. I'm out of here. Bye.